junkies, how are you? I hope that you're doing well. Oh my gosh, every day, you know how I always say I have a beautiful video for you? Well, I do, because I think every video is beautiful. But anyway, so today's video is entitled The 5 Things That Block Your Flow to Prosperity. So let's go over those 5 treasure trove things that block your flow from prosperity. Okay, so let's see. I wanted to give you an example of this. So number 1 is that you do not take action on inspired moments. Now, let me explain to you a little bit with that, okay? Because when I say action, so often people that are not in the spiritual realm, and like people that have been conditioned forever, like I was conditioned, most likely you were, almost every human being was conditioned out of their innate, inspired internal being. And so when I say action, I said an inspired action, okay? Because if you're going to take action on something that has to do with prosperity, you're automatically, did I say that right? That if you take action and it's not inspired, it's kind of like that old saying, like say for instance, you really realize, say for instance, you don't have much money or whatever, right? And you're not manifesting money right now in your life, and you're really thinking this sucks and I hate the law of attraction, right? Because I know some people get there and they're just like, that's stupid and that's hogwash, right? And so you're like, okay, well, I need to make money and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to go out and get this job and I'm gonna push it and I'm gonna grind it out until I get a job. And so you go out and you bust the pavement and you're like, something's gonna stick. But you know what happens when you're doing that and you have action and it's not inspired action? Yeah, something's gonna stick. But you know what they always say? You're gonna get dirty in the process. Yeah, something will stick, but you'll get dirty in the process. So if you're taking action and you notice that like it's not inspired action, that you're not gonna get anywhere. It's like trudging quicksand. You're not gonna be able to do it. Now, you might get a job, but then you're gonna realize right away that you can't stand the hours. They're gonna work you to death. You're not gonna like the people that you're there with. You're gonna be upset. You know, they're not gonna let you have the day off. Some things will always manifest in the way, because when you initially got the job or whatever it is in life that it's not inspired action that you've taken, it's going to backfire, because that's just the laws of the universe. That is how the laws of the universe work, is that if you're doing it with this sense of like urgency or lack or need, okay? And I talked about this video before, another video before, is that if you ever take action and there's a lackful thought process behind it, or vibrational energy, or if there's a needful, like I need $5,000 or I need $1,200, I have to pay the mortgage. The universe will not reward you with that, and not because you're not worthy or anything. It's never a worthy issue. It's because the universe doesn't see needful and lackful mentality. That's not how the universe works. Everything is always in abundance. There's always enough money to go around. There's always enough pie. You can have freaking 50 pies. There's no, oh, I want a sliver of this pie, you know? Oh, I want a sliver of this prosperity and abundance pie. Like, you can have 50,000 pies if you want, all to yourself, and you're not being greedy. So just remember that if you come from a lackful or a needful state, when you're taking action, it's most likely not inspired action from spirit. So just remember to like push the brakes on that a little bit, okay? So that's number 1. Number 2 is the reason that you are blocking your flow of prosperity. The reason that you are blocking your flow of prosperity, number 2, is that you have limited beliefs about money. Now, I knew that I had this lackful, I knew that I had this belief about money about 6 months ago, which is funny because I knew that I had some blockage in there and like some gaps to fill for financial abundance. And until I was going to get over that hump, was I going to start having money just flow in and like capital at my fingertips all the time, right? So you know, it gets to the point to where you don't have to think about payday coming because you have enough abundance that you don't, it's just more money. I know that sounds, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to worry about like, oh, when we get paid, we're going to do this or whatever, because you just have constant flow of money. But the belief system, if you have a belief system or you look at other people like, you know, that rich booger over there, like, how did they get all their money? They're probably doing drugs or something. You know, like if you always have this, and you might not say it verbally out into the universe, but your energy vibrates that crap like tenfold. So you might can think, oh, well, I'm being so good and I'm so happy for that person, but secretly you're just like, ugh, I can't believe, why do they have money? They don't even deserve the money. They have so much money. What? They don't even deserve it. They don't respect it. They don't this. They don't that. You know, I mean, if you have a belief system and you're thinking that in your mind, you might be saying all the good things on the outside, like, oh, I'm a good little Christian person. I'm thinking wonderful thoughts about this person. But inside, you're like begrudgingly pissed that they have money. You can better believe that you are never going to have money because your belief system is stopping you from your prosperity and abundance. And so you really need to take another hard look maybe at what you are thinking and what you are vibrating at. Because like I said, once again, I will reiterate, I didn't realize that I was doing it until this experience happened, and I was like, realized that I had this mentality about money, and it stemmed from me growing up. And I don't think my parents intentionally meant, like our parents don't intentionally mean to give us these belief systems about money, but it just comes like almost like just the natural conditioning of society and being in this, you know, circumstances or your realm of environment. And I just remember that, you know, there were little things that were said, but when you say little things over a course of time, they become a belief system. That's all a belief is you keep telling yourself something over and over, and it becomes a belief. It's not even real or factual or anything of that nature. Most of the time, it's just dumb stuff that you think is like, I can't get rid of this belief, you know, and you never will get rid of those beliefs that you had when you were conditioned as a child. But what you do is you recreate new beliefs, and that is when the money starts coming in. And I promise you that this is true because this has happened to me in my own journey, is that I used to believe, like, I would hear little things, and my parents didn't intentionally mean to do it. They never do. And so it's not like I'm blaming or anything like that. But I do remember thinking, you know, there's certain things I'm not going to say to my children. I'm not going to say, like, you know, we don't have the money for that, you know, or, you know, I remember one little thing that my parents would say a lot was, we don't have the money. Your dad drank all the money up. And that was a very, very prominent, like, I could quote that until the cows come home because I remember that always being a statement. And so that became a belief, you know, is that we don't have the money. Your dad drank all the money. We don't have the money for that, for your birthday cake. Your dad drank all the money. You know what I mean? And so you realize that you don't think you're doing this to children, but they're very impressionable, right? And so if you can imagine that 100,000 times by the time I'm 7 or 8 years old, like, and that's not even counting past that age, that you're like, forget about it with this belief system about money. Like, what do you think? Money grows on trees? We're broke. We're poor. We don't have money. I mean, how many times, I know I get kind of all worked up about it, but I'm just saying, like, I'm enthusiastic, you know, like this just excites me, this kind of video, is that I just want to share this stuff with you because it's like, I realized this is what I was doing. So I want to kind of like catapult you guys into the, the stream of things where it's like flowing to you so at such a massive pace compared to me going through all this stuff. And I always tell you that I'm the teacher, like I'll be the total guinea pig, right? Like I will be the fish bait so that you can gather these concepts and actually catapult into such abundance and prosperity, and you don't have to wait around for this whole progress. And that's another thing, like just a little side comment, is that don't think that because you're learning all these beautiful things that like, oh my gosh, it took me till I was 32 to learn, that I didn't have to believe that way. That just because it took you that long does not mean that it's going to have to take you another 32 years to figure out like these belief systems and things. Like once you are in alignment with the universe will start giving you stuff at such massive speeds, and the speed of light, so to speak, which is true because the universe lives in such a speed of light naturally, because we're spirit beings, right? Living a physical life, but we're more made up of a spiritual nature than we are a mortal nature, like a physical nature. So just remember, you don't have to take as long. You can really accelerate your growth progress. So I wanted to just clarify that. Just always remember, like, the universe has your back, and there's a reason that you found this video. The universe is talking to you. Maybe this is your sign signal and this is your message that these things that I'm saying are true. And if they resonate with you, that is probably, I will say that is most likely a sign from the universe. And so anyway, so that was number 3, right? Okay, then did I say number 3? Oh my goodness, I can't remember, you guys. I always get so sidetracked. I'm terrible. Like I had a girlfriend, she's like, sweetie, you never got to like number 10, 11, 12, and 13. Like you completely forgot those on that one video. And I was like, oh my goodness, I totally did. Like I get so sidetracked, so you guys will have to forgive me. But I think that was number 2. If it wasn't, okay, so let's see. So number 3 would be the lack of self-confidence, self-worth, and self-respect. Now, and the reason I say this is because I experienced this. These are the reasons I give you these lists of things. These are things that have worked for me and things that I have noticed that I have had contrasting moments in my life. And then once I have clarity, then I can give you this information. But this is my own personal experience. This isn't from someone else, like taking a list and using their list or whatever, because everybody's so individual and everybody's so different. And so that's why I'm sharing these things with you. These are my own personal things. You might have your own other personal things, which would be fun and interesting. And so leave it in the comments, But mine, you guys know this about me, is that I've always struggled with, I had in the past, because I don't want to say, activate that momentum of feeling that I don't have self-worth now, because, obviously there's little things that trickle in there and left and right, but for the most part, it has a lot to do with self-worth. If you believe that you are not worthy enough to have prosperity and abundance in your life, maybe you tell yourself like, oh, well, y'all like how I get real Southern when I'm trying to make a point? Well, it's not Christ-like to have all that money. Why do you need all that money? Money's of the devil. That's my Southern thing. Or money's the root of all evil. Is that true? Is that what you tell yourself? To contradict, like, getting abundance and everything in your life? Like, if you say to yourself, oh, just please, God. Okay, so this is a needful prayer, right? Please, God, get me to the next paycheck. Do you think that God's gonna, or the universe is gonna reward you with like an overabundance to the next paycheck? No. Because you're coming to the universe in a needful manner, for one thing. That's why prayers don't work in that way. You have to go to God in a prayer of, this is how it's going to happen. This is what I desire, and I expect it, so be it, so it is. All is well. And that means it's going to happen. But if you're praying to God and you're like, please get me to the next paycheck, well, you're going to have enough money and food to get you to that next paycheck. But you're not going to have a prosperity or overabundance of money. You're going to be the same way because that's your belief system. I'll at least have enough to get me to that next paycheck. Don't you want to have more, an exuberant amount? Like it just flowing in like the ocean's tide? In and out, in and out. You're spending it, it's coming in. You're spending it, it's coming in. That is the beautiful thing about the universe. The universe will totally give you that money when you knock that belief system out and tell yourself that you're worthy of having it. Because you are worthy of having it. It doesn't make you a very humble person to say, oh, well, you know, I'm going to have my kingdom and my crowns and jewels and rubies in heaven. I know, I'm not trying to be funny, but that's just how, like, I really grew up talking, like, I'm accentuating the Southern accent, but I was born in Georgia, and so I grew up in the South my whole life. So, yeah, I do have an accent, but yeah, I just hear people talk like that, and it's just like, oh, dear old me. You know, you've got to have the sense of self-worth that you deserve. If you want to be a billionaire, then you have the right to desire that, and you can have it. It can be yours. But we've got to get to these self-worth beliefs about yourself, that someone's going to come in and rescue you, that you're not worthy of that. You've got to get rid of that. You've got to create a new belief system, okay? So that's number 3. So number 4, let's see what number 4 is, you guys. I know, I had some Zip Fizz today. You know, my favorite Zip Fizz. I love Zip Fizz. So number 4 is that you give up your desire. You think you're giving up your desire because you feel you gather resistance when you're trying to, like when you're first starting to do this whole thing about prosperity and abundance, you kind of get to those moments. I know I did in my personal journey. It's like, this is bull crap. You know what I mean? Like if it wasn't coming immediately or like within 3 days, I was just like, I think this is kind of bull beep. You know, like this affirmation crap is not working and this is stupid. And so then you just kind of give up and you're like, oh, that's dumb. Why did I even have any faith in that? This is stupid. I don't know what I was thinking, you know, whatever. But anyway, that is the thing that you do, is that's what I did in my journey, is that I was just like, there was a moment there that I was like, telling myself in the mirror, you were worthy of being a multi-millionaire, Raquel. You were worthy of being an author and an illustrator. You were worthy to get $35 for a tiny little 4x4 painting. Like, you're worthy of that, you know, or now for some clients, it's, you know, $1,200 for a little teeny picture. You know, you are worthy of that, Raquel. But before, when I was first starting out, I was just like, nah. I mean, you can't fake it. That's the thing about the universe, is you can pretend like all day long, like, oh, I'm going to tell myself these things. Oh, I'm just going to tell myself these things. And you don't believe it at all. So just have faith in yourself a little bit. It just takes a mustard seed, you guys, because, you know, maybe put that quote on your fridge or something, like everywhere. Put it on your computer screen, in the book you're reading, on a bookmark, I mean, in your car, a post-it note, everywhere. Like, just remember to don't give up. Don't give up. Like, because if you do, you're still never going to achieve prosperity and abundance. And I know that it's tough at first. I know that it sucks balls, kind of, like, at first. I shouldn't say it like that, but like, it does. It's hard because you're just like, well, that was another thing, like saying it was hard. Oh, it was hard, Raquel. Like, right? That's another belief. Like, quit telling yourself it's hard. Just say, it's not as easy as I thought it was, right? So we can slow the train down when we say that. Like, I just caught myself. Anyway, number 5 is setting unrealistic goals. Okay, so let me dive deep into this one, because this is another one that you might be having a gap in. Now, I know I did on my journey, so that's why I'm clarifying this one. Okay, so let me give you an example. Here's a little example. Okay, so when I very first started, this law of attraction and my transformational journey, I have allergies today, but anyway, I'm sorry. I thought, okay, well, I want to be a multimillionaire, and I'm going to manifest this and this and that. You know, I started going nuts, right? And so I remember seeing on Oprah this one time, and I know you guys probably law of attraction, if you've seen this or videos and stuff, is that Jim Carrey put out, you know, he wrote this check to himself, and he said he used to go to the Hollywood Hills, and he would sit in his old little beat up car, and he would sit outside in the car and look at all these big, massive mansions. And he would do this like every night, and he wrote himself a check for, what was it? I can't remember what it was, but it was millions of dollars, and he wanted to do it by 5 years. And so he wrote that check to himself, and he put the date 5 years from that point, and he put services rendered because he wanted to be an actor, right? And so I know I say right away, but anyway, okay. So he does this and he writes this check. Well, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I'm totally gonna do that. I'm like Valley Girl there. But I was like, I'm totally gonna do that. And so when I first started, I wrote myself like this check for $6 million. Okay, and so then I guess, and then I put it in my wallet, and I put it in the back, like folded it and stuff, and like never really thought about it. And this was like 4 or 5 years ago. Okay, so the universe showing me signs, right? Well, that's going a little bit drastic, because when at the time, when I couldn't even think like, oh, I believe enough that I could manifest $100 a day, and I couldn't do that, but I'm writing a check to myself for $6 million, like that's just not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not because that it couldn't happen, but because of my belief system, yes, it's not going to happen. So you have to be realistic. So the other day, I'm looking for money, I'm finding money, right? And like one of the other things that's a beautiful little exercise to do is to create like a beautiful clean wallet and have everything organized. Always make sure that you know you have your bills facing the right way. You don't have a bunch of receipts and crap in your purse or in your wallet and you're just stuffing things in there, because that creates too much, like that's cluttered, and so your mind becomes cluttered, and then you can't manifest abundance and prosperity. So I was going through my purse and my wallet the other day. I always keep my purse very, very organized, but I went through my wallet and I was like, oh, I bet there's some cards that have been in here, you know, after my divorce and everything. I'm like, that I don't need anymore. And so I was going through these business cards and I found the check. And I was like, you know, I really think that I probably should change the check amount, because I just felt like maybe I didn't necessarily believe that. Actually, I know I didn't actually believe that amount. Now there will get to a point where I do actually believe that, but I rewrote another check, but I wrote it for the same date, which it said January 19th, 2019, and I changed the amount, and the reason that I had this particular amount was a really cool thing, but that's just something between me contractually with the universe. But I wrote the amount that I will receive a one-time check for $225,000, just one check. Well, I had written this. So let me just tell you guys this cool thing, okay? So I had written this check, and when I wrote the check, I didn't know. I honest to God did not know. That was just a number I came up with because it's my birthday, 225, and that's why I picked it. I know it's funny, but I'm like a numbers person, right? And so the reason that I picked it was because it was my birthday, and I just added the zeros on. Well, when I'm getting my book published, right? And you get an advance on your book. And so I guess sometimes, like if you're a published author and it's your first time and stuff, sometimes you're not going to get as much as like, you know, like a New York Times bestseller, right? You're not going to get something like a Brendan Burchard, which he gets probably like $1 to $3 million for every book, like in advance. And so, but anyway, my advance is, you guessed it, $225,000. Is that hilarious? It's not hilarious, like it's magic. You know what I mean? It's like magic. And so, oh my God, that was 2525. And we're talking about 2525. That was on the video. You see what I'm saying? Oh my God, I love it! I love it! It's so exciting. But anyway, like I'm so frumpy in this in this thing. But anyway, so my camera is going dead. But I just wanted to share those 5 things with you, and I hope that this inspired you, and I hope that you learned something. Not learned something, but I hope that you were inspired by this message, and I hope that it served you. And I want you to know how much I love you so much. And I hope you have a lovely weekend. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day, and spend time just relishing in this day and enjoying the universe and enjoying everything that you have been given, and have great appreciation for everything. And that is how your abundance and prosperity will really, really start to flow in at massive, massive speeds. And so I leave these things with you. And if you want to give a mermaid her fins, just subscribe to the channel below, and also follow me on social media. My Instagram is Raquel Margaret Carter. My Twitter is Raquel M. Carter. My fan page Facebook is Raquel Margaret Carter again, and my Pinterest is Raquel Margaret Carter. So thank you so much. I love you. Have a great day. I'm yours into my next swim. Ciao.